Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm like in divine light right here. Looks awesome. Today, this will be technically sort of unboxing sort of thing, because look what I got. DJI Air 2S. It's not mine. I know many people say this, like, when something is found that is theirs, but no, this is actually not my drone. Got it right here. So we're gonna review it, take a look at it, and whether or not you should buy it. But I'm gonna say, like, I have a friend. Uh, Basically, we met like last year and flew our drones together, but we're both in Ukraine. And he contacted me yesterday and said that because there's basically a ban on flying drones right now, he doesn't know the next time he's gonna fly. I'm like, just come over to my house. You can fly over at my house. He's like, no. Well, he came over, but his wife was too afraid for him to fly because you can get arrested for flying a drone right now. So he left me his Air 2S and he asked me to sell it. But I asked him, I'm like, well, I didn't ask him. I told him that I'm not gonna fly it. And he's like, nah, you can fly it. I trust you. So we're gonna fly it maybe once because I want to see how good. I believe this has the HDR video. I don't remember, but I believe it does. And let me tell you, see, it still has a sticker on it. Let me tell you how my first impressions of this drone. Well, my first impression actually was when it first came out, and I told my buddy about this little. I'll show you guys what I don't like about this drone, because you can accidentally sort of damage the drone or damage the battery or damage even the gimbal. You can test it out if you have an Air 2S, but when you have it in your bag and if the propellers line up just right and if there's pressure applied to the propellers, it will be applied to the power button, this thing will start up. I'm not gonna do it right now, but we tested it and it does start up by itself without like it can start up in a bag, which I can see how that can cause problems. So that's one drawback that I found to this drone. Let me now show you. The second drawback is the gimbal cover. I do not like this. It took me a few minutes to figure out how to put this back on yesterday. But let me show you actually the reason why people get this drone. It's this. The 1-inch sensor camera. This thing is amazing. And it actually says on it, 1 inch. It's not the Hasselblad of the Mavic 2, which I also have, but this camera is amazing. And that's the only reason to get this drone. I actually had people ask yesterday, should I get Air 2S or the Mini 3? And my answer was get the Air 2S. Because, here's my justification. Yes, the Mini 3 does have a large sensor, but it's still not a professional drone. It is considered a recreational drone, although you can use it for professional needs. But this has a 1-inch sensor, meaning it will allow a lot of light in, especially in low light conditions. And what is very sort of interesting, see, I hate putting this back on. It is sort of difficult. There you go, it's on. And this drone specifically, because me and this guy, we were sort of, we met last year, but before that we were Facebook buddies, and we're still Facebook buddies, and I have his full trust. So I'm actually gonna fly today. We're gonna test a lot of things out. He flew this at night, and this is not United States where you have to get waivers. You just have to be a responsible pilot in Ukraine currently. So you can technically fly at night. He flew this at night in the middle of the city. And he got the most fantastic shots I have ever seen in my life. Can't share him here because he has those, and I didn't ask him for it. Yeah, got 2 more batteries because it's the 5 more combo. My suggestion to you is if you're gonna buy a drone, always get the fly more combo. Unless you're one of those guys who will fly once every 6 months for like 20 minutes and you're done, always get the fly more combo. So he flew at night and got really beautiful shots with the Air 2S. And even that night, he actually flew with the Mini 2 and proved that Mini 2 is really capable of shooting high quality images at night. His shots were so great that he actually had the city contact him and ask him if they can use his shots officially on their page, because he posted it on Facebook and he's like, here you go, this is what I shot last night. The city officials contacted him and said, can we use your pictures? So that's kind of how good this drone is. I like to, believe it or not, whenever I compare the Air 2S, and this is the first time I'm actually holding it because it was left with me. Whenever I compare the Air 2S, the only drone I really compare it to is the Mavic 2 Pro because of the 1-inch sensor, 1-inch camera with a 1-inch sensor. Mavic 2 Pro has a Hasselblad. This one does not. How does it compare image quality? Well, the only difference really is with the Mavic 2 Pro on the remote, and here you do not. See, you only have 1 roller on the remote. On the Mavic 2 Pro, you have the second roller right here. You have adjustable aperture. Is that a big deal? I'm gonna say yes, it's a huge deal. Because whenever I was flying the Mavic 2 Pro, I did find myself in situations where I needed to, rather than adjust the shutter speed, adjust the aperture. And it really helped a lot, having the ability to adjust the aperture just with the roller that's on the remote. So it is a big deal. Mavic 2, I still consider it a superior drone to the Air 2S, but it doesn't mean that Air 2S is a bad drone or inferior drone. It is a different kind of drone in a different category. If Mavic 2 Pro is precisely what it says, a pro drone, this one is somewhere in between a sort of amateur drone and the pro drone. If DJI would add adjustable aperture to this camera, to camera on the Air 2S, this would be a pro drone. It would be a very excellent level drone. That's one thing they neglected to add, and I think this was probably the biggest mistake of the Air 2S, is not adding the adjustable aperture to the camera. Can you live without it? Yes, it can. Does it cripple you in some moments? Yes, it does. So another thing that I like about this package, actually I do like this bag, and I saw this last night. I don't know if you're gonna see it. Look at that foam insert in the bag. That actually is really helpful because, well, that means I gotta put my Air 2S camera down in the bag, and there's actually a foam insert that's holding it in place. I think that's genius. I think that should be in every single freaking bag. I do use cases, hard cases for all of my drones, and I do have foam inserts, but for a soft case to have a foam insert, that's just amazing. So I think this is probably the greatest addition to a Flymore kit ever since somebody said, oh, let's do a Flymore kit with 2 extra batteries. Or actually with DJI Spark it was 1 extra battery. They added ND filters standard in a Flymore kit. This is, whoever thought of this should get a yearly bonus, because of this probably people choose to purchase a Flymore kit or a drone over either regular standard kit without extra batteries or another drone, because you don't have to sort of search and decide which ND filters to buy. Many people use them. I use them very infrequently, but rather than having to go on Amazon or go on eBay or go on official DJI website and decide like, well, which ND filters do I need? Because you can buy just one. You don't have to buy a pack. Here, that's decision is made for you. DJI said, here, take the ND filters. These are designed for this drone. You don't have to hit your head against the wall deciding which filter, which brand to buy. Here you go. $50 to $100 comes standard in the Flymore kit. Genius idea. So that's that. What else about this drone I can tell you right now? Well, that's actually about it. Next video, we're gonna go out and test it. I wanna test how good I believe this has HDR video, so I wanna test how good HDR video, because I've actually been asked by my father to take the video of the house as I did before my Mavic Pro, the original Mavic Pro, but I can't find that video. And my father wants to put up the house for sale, and he's like, take the video from the air of the house, of the property. As soon as he said that, this guy contacted me. He's like, hey, can you sell my drone for me? I'm like, yeah, come over, let's fly it. And I'm like, you can take the video of the house. He's like, no, you can fly it. I trust you, take the video of the house. So next video, I'm just basically gonna check the condition of the batteries, how many cycles they have, because I need that. I can tell you right now, none of the batteries are actually bloated. They're in good condition. I asked Alex how many cycles each battery has. He said about 30 cycles on each battery. I know he flies very professionally. I know he flies very carefully. And when time came to sell the drone, I asked him, I'm like, how much do you want to get for it? And what's my cut is gonna be? But he said basically like the minimum he wants to put in his pocket for this kit in Ukraine is $1,000. Ukraine prices on drones is about 30% more than in US. So I see that as very possible. I did put it up for sale last night, and we'll see how it goes. Currently I'm selling, like I said, I'm selling all my drones. So if I sell it for more than $1,000, I'll probably get a little commission. If I sell it for exactly $1,000, I'll get zilch. I'm not gonna sell it extremely expensive. I actually checked out the prices online for it in this region, how much it costs, and I'm gonna set about what I think is fair for the drone, because I'll give you an example. I'm selling my Mini 2 currently, and I listed it for actually above the average listing price, because the condition of my Mini 2 and the condition of the batteries is better than excellent, and definitely better than average. And I checked the cycles actually last night, and when people call me up and ask me like, well, what are the cycles in the battery? I go like 0, 2, 3, and the third battery has like 28 cycles. That's the battery that I bought separately. So basically a brand new Mini 2, which I'm selling with 4 batteries, pretty much as brand new, with 3 batteries. So like Fly More combo, that's the price I have for my Mini 2. Plus you get an extra battery. And people already like, oh, it's too expensive. I'm like, don't buy. If you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. It's not like somebody's forcing you. But this one I did list last night. I listed it for 1,100 and like $20 in US, but of course in Ukrainian currency. So basically just a tad over $1,000. Brand new Air 2S right now, just for comparison. If somebody was gonna go out and buy a brand new Fly More combo, in Ukraine, I can order one that's brand new right now for like $1,300. So I basically listed at $200, his $200 under the brand new price. Is it a good price? Yeah. Is it a good drone? Yeah. And again, with all of these drones, Mini 2, Air 2S, Air 2, which other drone I have? I'm spacing right now. I have so many drones. Again, I'm gonna tell you I don't like this remote. This remote was probably the biggest flop of DJI. I like the old remote. So the Mavic 2 remote is excellent. The Mavic 2 Pro remote, the smart remote, the smart remote controller, really good thing. I would see myself spending $1,000 on that. This, I hate this remote. Actually, maybe the reason like that why I really don't like Mini 2. Mini 2 is an excellent drone, but I hate the remote. I really do. I don't like the design of this brick remote. It's too big, too bulky, too uncomfortable to hold in the hand. So later on today, hopefully the weather is not going to turn bad. I'm going to go out and fly this. I'm only going to fly it with probably fly one battery on it, so I'm just going to charge one battery and do a full battery flight. Tell you how good it holds its GPS position. If you look at it, you'll see that it has a lot of sensors on the bottom. So it has avoidance, it has a LED light, it has I think these are ultrasonic sensors. No, these are camera sensors. It has sensors on the back, so you can fly it backwards. And it has sensors pointing at the angle up and sensors forward. So it doesn't have side sensors, another sort of drawback, but when it's flying sideways, it actually turns itself like this. No, like this. So it can use this sensor when flying sideways. The camera actually turns towards the object. So that was sort of a genius move, but again, it's better to put just sideways, like side sensors on a drone and not have to worry about the proper programming or if the drone is going to turn properly, if the drone is going to see an obstacle. So for me, it has drawbacks. It's not a perfect drone, but it's a really good drone. Would I suggest somebody to buy an Air 2S? Yes. Another thing I don't like about all of these new drones, but basically you'll have to work around it, is the DJI Fly software. The DJI Fly software, I think, is, again, inferior to DJI Go 4 app. I like DJI Go 4, hands down, like the best app. The Fly app, I do not like. I do not like how it's set up. Right now, he did tell me, because I haven't used the Fly app, but I did see it when I turned on the Mini, that since the last update on it, the camera control functions, so when you go into the camera menu, you can adjust everything, became much easier and much easier accessible. So that's a big plus, but still not a big fan of DJI Fly app. Still, everything comes down to, should you buy the Air 2S if you have an option? Yes, hands down, it's a very good drone. Right now, I believe the price on it in US is just around $1,000. I actually had somebody drop the price in my feed on Facebook. Is it worth $1,000? Yes. I will explain why. I do say that I consider the Mavic 2 as a superior drone, but right now you cannot buy a Mavic 2 Pro brand new for a very good price. Brand new Mavic 2 Pros, as I saw right now, start at around $1,600 all the way to over $3,000. So technically, a brand new Mavic 2 Pro actually costs more in some cases than a brand new Mavic 3. Would I buy a Mavic 2 Pro over a Mavic 3? I don't know yet. I need to test out a Mavic 3. As of right now, Mavic 2 Pro is my go-to drone, meaning I prefer it better than any other drone I own, with one exception. My Autel Evo 1, and I don't have a 2, my Autel Evo 1 I consider probably as good as the Mavic 2 Pro. It shoots a better video because Autel Evo 1 can shoot 4K 60. Mavic 2 Pro can only do 4K 30. But Mavic 2 Pro does better stills, so better still pictures than the Autel Evo 1 because of that large sensor. This is the same thing. This one shows, it has a 20 megapixel still camera, which for a drone, that's freaking amazing. And you don't need anything bigger than that. It's kind of like a flying DSLR camera with a 1-inch sensor. That's excellent. Do I have DSLR cameras with larger sensors? Of course I do, but you have to consider the weight, and you have to consider the ability to have a flying camera. That's basically what drones are. They're just flying cameras. It doesn't matter if it's for surveillance or recreational purposes or any other purpose. But bottom line is, for as good as the Air 2S is, I would highly recommend it for the price. Because for that price, without going extremely higher in price, you're probably not going to find a better drone. And again, I will go back to somebody who said, what did they say? Hold on, let me think. Oh, I had somebody again ask last night, what should I buy? Air 2S or a Mini 3 Pro when it comes out? Because it's very close to the same price. I said Air 2S hands down. There's no comparison. Mini 3 Pro is going to be a very good drone. It's already a good drone because some bloggers got it. And I myself, I'm looking into buying a Mini 3. But it shouldn't be your main drone. It should be like a supporting drone. So if you're just going to have one drone, buy a really good one. So like Air 2S, a Mavic 2 Pro, Mavic 3, Phantom 4 Pro. So your main drone always should be the best possible drone you can buy for the money you can spend on a drone. And then you can have a supporting drone. So for me, for example, I said that my best drone is a Mavic 2, but my supporting drone right now is a Mini 2. And that should be if you're considering to get in more than one drone. You should have a main drone with the best possible camera you can buy, and then a supporting drone. So you use your main drone for the most important shots. You don't want to waste your battery by charging it for extra cycles, for like wear and tear of the battery, because batteries are expensive. Batteries cost, for my drones, $150 plus per battery, where you can buy a drone for $150. So you wear down the batteries on your drone only for the most important shots, and use the supporting drone for like the B-roll shots that are not important, but you want to fill the background. And that's the philosophy I live by, and it works for me well so far. So I thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And do you need one of these? Yes, you do. If you like drones, if you're watching this video because you saw it in a group on Facebook or anywhere else, if YouTube showed you this video, buy an Air 2S. It's an excellent drone. If you're debating which drone to buy as your first drone, this is actually for the first drone, believe it or not, this is a better drone than the Mavic 2, because Mavic 2 can be difficult to control sometimes. I almost crashed my Mavic 2, actually the Mavic 2 Zoom that I have with me right now. As soon as I went from flying the DJI Spark for a week and I was flying, I'm like, yeah, this is a cool drone, I love it. I actually still think the DJI Spark is a better drone than the Mini 2, but that's just me. And I was like flying my DJI Spark for a week, go to Mavic 2, I'm like, let's fly it. And I forgot that the speed difference in normal mode is so great between the DJI Spark and the Mavic 2 and all the settings I have on my Mavic 2. So I almost flew into a tree within like 10 seconds of takeoff. So Mavic 2 can be a very difficult drone to control for if it's your first drone. But this drone right here, the Air 2S, very easy to control, very consumer friendly, and it can actually be a very good drone for the beginner. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and if you have questions, comments, feel free. Make sure to like this video, share with your friends, and if you are part of drone community, yeah, definitely subscribe, definitely. And next video, we're gonna fly this thing. I'm gonna go put the battery on the charger right now. So I'll see you guys later.